A few weeks ago, I began to wonder if people were still interested in moving to Europe. This is Ted at Valley of the Dolly, and I found a site called Mydolcecasa. And on this site, they had done the research looking at the number of Google searches by Americans in 2022 versus 2023. And these were search words related to moving to Europe. And they found overall that there's a 14% drop in the number of people who were searching, or the number of searches that were happening in 2022 versus 2023. So let's take a look at the biggest losers first, and then a couple of the winners in this changes in search between 2022 and 2023. So the first one is by far the largest, and that's the United Kingdom. So United Kingdom found a 34% drop in the number of searches. Americans were searching for moving to the United Kingdom at the rate of about 44,000 searches a month in 2022. By the time 2023 rolls around, a year later, you find those monthly searches coming in at a little under 30,000. So that's a drop of 34%. Then they also on this site looked at which metro areas in the United States were searching for moving to the United Kingdom. And those tended to be Washington, D.C., New York, Boston, San Francisco, and Atlanta. And you notice that most of these metro areas are all located on the eastern seaboard. And obviously positions in Washington, D.C. may commonly be related to government. New York, a lot of finance positions in the United Kingdom. And then with that, San Francisco, there's a lot of tech positions in the United Kingdom, and San Francisco is obviously a big tech hub as well. There was one other thing. The UK had what was called a skilled workers shortage occupation list. So if you had a profession, if you were a skilled worker in the professions that they were looking for, you could get fast-tracked in and move to the United Kingdom. And I think this might have affected the number of people who were doing searches for the country. They might have gotten frustrated because they may not have had the skill sets that the country was looking for. The second one on this list is Portugal. And I live in Portugal, so I'm very familiar with what might be causing this significant drop in the number of people who are looking at moving to Portugal. So in 2022, there were monthly searches of almost 22,000 searches every month in 2022, and that dropped to barely above 17,000 in 2023 for monthly searches. And a lot of this is probably related to the changes that happened at the end, or that were in process in 2023, and they've been talked about for most of that year. So you're talking about the end of Golden Visa. You're talking about NHR, which was a non-habitual residency program that provided tax breaks to people moving, to encourage people to move into the country and set up businesses, etc. Those have gone away. And you're going to find that some of the people interested in moving to Portugal are now looking at other countries in Europe, and you'll see that they did not have any drop at all, maybe even an increase, or definitely significantly improved search results compared to what Portugal had. And with Portugal, you find that a lot of people who are looking at moving to Portugal, these people were coming from the western seaboard. So you have Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, and the outlier here is Orlando. So in almost all these cases, you're talking about Portugal having what a lot of people say is a comparable environment to what you find in California. So maybe that was what was really triggering the interest in people in California moving to Portugal. The next one on this list with a big drop was Germany. And their drop, I think, was actually larger than Portugal, but the numbers of people searching for it every month, I mean, there were only 12,600 searching in 2022 monthly. And fast forward a year, and that number has dropped 24%, so it's now 9,600. And in Germany, they also had a similar program that you found in the United Kingdom. This one is called the Skilled Immigration Act. And in this particular request, they're looking for particular skills, and they found a huge influx in the number of people who are applying for positions. Therefore, they think people might have gotten frustrated at the process of moving into Germany, or if you were an unskilled worker, for example, that We just weren't being considered, at least not high on the list. The other countries that have a larger monthly search rate, so you're talking about countries like Ireland or Spain, they did not have significant drops. So Ireland searches were over 15,000 in 2022, and then in 2023 they were still 14,500. So it's just a drop of 4%. And with Ireland, it's another English-speaking country. You find that there is a lot of US companies who have set up shop in Ireland, but it is also a very expensive European country to live in. And people who are looking at moving to Ireland, they're coming from Washington, D.C., New York, Los Angeles, Portland, and Denver. So again, you're finding a lot of people finance business related in New York, entertainment, because Ireland has been developing film studio locations for shooting there. So you're seeing that, along with tech people coming over to Ireland from some of the other locations as well. The next one on that list was Spain, which had a 5% drop. And with Spain, that was 15,000 down to about 14,300. And Spain has a number of options if you're looking to move to Spain. That's probably what sustained it here. So they have what's called a non-lucrative visa option. This means if you have passive income of at least almost 32,000 US dollars a year, you can find it very easy to move to Spain. They also have a digital nomad visa if you want to be here under that program. There are some wealth taxes, etc., depending on the province you live in Spain. So it's really important to figure out exactly where you're moving if you're concerned about things like wealth taxes, if you plan to stay an extended period, maybe past 5 years. The next one on this list was Italy. Italy is another one where you find very little drop off. And I think this is also because Italy offers a number of programs for people who may be interested in living in Italy. One of the first ones is what is called citizenship by ancestry. So I've known a couple people who have gotten their Italian passport based on citizenship by ancestry. There's also another program called the retirement visa that's used inside of Italy. So you have a number of options should you decide you want to move to Italy. I met a few other people who are long-term residents of Italy. Those are Americans or people from other countries inside the EU. And in both of those cases, they had not decided to take Italian citizenship, but they did have a long-term residency visa and they had been living in the country for years and years. So when you look at the countries with the biggest search, you're looking at the United Kingdom at almost 30,000 monthly searches, followed by Portugal at a little over 17,000, and then Ireland at 14,500, Spain at 14,300, and then Italy at 12,600. There were a few really huge losers here by percentage points, but they are not as commonly searched for when you talk about moving as some of these other countries. So they have much lower rates of search. That would be Norway at almost 20%, Denmark again at almost 20%. And when you talk about the winners, kind of shockingly, we're talking about Greece, because Greece had not been, positively reported for a number of years. But in 2023, Greece was named as the Economy of the Year by The Economist magazine. And a friend of mine who I met in a restaurant, cafe for coffee a couple days ago, he mentioned how much he really loved going to Greece recently and how he thought there were all of these amazing restaurants that had just opened up and that it was full of life and really an exciting place to go to. So Greece is all of a sudden working its way back up that list. And Greece also has a golden visa program. They have a number of different retirement visas and other visas that you can come into the country if you're working there nomadically or as an employee. So Greece is becoming a really hot option again now, especially when countries like Portugal have eliminated some of their incentives for coming to the country. The other big winner on this list is France. And I've got this chart here. It tells you who's at the top, and then down at the top are the biggest losers. At the bottom are a few of the big winners, and that's Greece and France, for example. And with France, there is a great tax treaty between the United States and France. but it does mean you need to do your research before you move there. And France has a lot of wonderful locations. If you're looking for warm, sunny weather, you've got the coast down by Nice. If you're looking for a really exciting, vibrant way of life, you've got Paris and a lot of other locations as well that are great spots to move to. So between those, you find that the big winners are France and Greece, and some of the biggest losers are the United Kingdom and Portugal. This is Ted at Valley of the Dolly. I look forward to talking with you soon. Let me know which country really interested you, and if you're still interested in moving in 2024 to these countries and why that is. I will talk to you again soon. Thanks again. Bye now.